Hey everyone, welcome back to Into the Creative Mind with Justin Pasqua. And today we have the whole Ricoso production team. You can see Francisco and Noor back there editing. You can see them, right, from this camera?
They're cut off.
Yeah, they're. We have Steven monitoring the audio, and we have our first guest, Dan Orr, our creative partner in Ricoso Productions. Dan, thank you so much for being here.
Bro, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
You just got back.
Freshly in Canada again.
Where'd you go?
I was in Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia, how was it?
Yeah, it was good, man. The weather was good. The roads are a little treacherous, but all in all, it was a fun little adventure.
You vlog your trip?
Some of it.
Where can they find it?
Some of it. OSUP LTD on YouTube probably is the best spot.
Why did you go on that trip? Well, I should probably mute my phone. I say mute.
Man, this is supposed to be a professional podcast. What's going on here? Why'd I go on the trip?
Yeah.
Man, just to see life. You got to have a little vacation, you know? You get some wins in, you got to go celebrate.
Do you know what's funny? I was talking to a friend of mine. I actually made a video. It was on my story. I'm pretty sure it's on my TikTok as well. Do you remember when we first started working together?
Oh, yeah.
So I went on to my Snapchat and December 16th. Was it December? No. I don't know when it was. Early December. Recording a Christmas orchestra thing. Yeah. And then after that, you went and flew off to Thailand for like 4 months. How long were you gone?
Yeah, it was like 4 months. It was like almost 5, but not quite.
Yeah. And then you had asked me, and I don't know why I remember this, but you would ask me like when you came back, like if you can work with me.
Yeah.
And I saw something in you that I was just like, yo, you don't need to like work under someone. You're like, you have an ability to just do your own thing. And this was prior to me knowing you ran your own painting company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously we took our partnership together and we did one of our first jobs, which is that moving company.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But we sat down and I had asked you, what was your goal? Like, what was your dream? Like, what did you want to do? And what did you hit me with?
I was trying to travel and film.
And the answer that I gave you was, I have no idea how we're going to do it, but stick with me and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And what happened?
And we traveled to US. We got Portugal. We should start marking off countries, see how many more we got to hit until we've done them all.
We should do Brazil.
Fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And dude, honestly, at the end of the video that I made, I was just like, oh, the lesson to be learned here was find good people, do work with good people, and some other thing. But the true lesson behind that story, or like the story that we just told, was I truly feel like if people stick with me, we'll figure it out. And that's what I want to do with the people that are in my circle or people that want to grow. It's like, I don't know most of the things that we'll be able to accomplish together, but I know that everyone on the Ricoso production team and everyone that's associated with us have their own goals and their own purpose in life and their own journey. And I just want to be a part of everyone's story, if that makes sense. So moving forward, I wanted to know in 2024, what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Yeah, I think 2024 was a good year. Like, not a ton of in-your-face lessons, you know what I mean? But it did feel like a bit of autopilot. I had mainly all the same clients doing sort of the same work, even with you. And then it was really just balancing the time, like going from just job to job to job. I think the biggest part of it, though, was like finding time to enjoy myself. You know, I would like go on these little sprints of like grind for 2 weeks and then take like 4 days camping. And then just like, that was the goal the entire year, was just like grind as much as I can to take some time off. Grind as much as I can, take some time off. Same thing with going to Vietnam, you know?
See, I like that lifestyle choice of yours, because do you think you could have made more if you had just worked?
Yeah, there's a possibility of it, but then I would be faced with the like marketing end of things or trying to find a way to fill the extra time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, I bet you in total, I probably took like 4 months off if you put everything together.
Damn.
So I would have to like figure out what to do in those 4 months too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
No regrets there, right?
Definitely not.
You love camping.
Yeah. I love taking the time off. I mean, I love working too.
Yeah.
But I love finding the balance between it, because it's good to just like switch it up, right? Like I go on the trip to Vietnam and then I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get home, right? Or I'm out camping and it's like, oh, I can't wait to get home. But then like when you're working, you're like, oh, I can't wait to get some time off.
What's your philosophy with work-life balance?
I mean, I think it's just important to like make sure I'm always doing stuff. I try and maybe look at it in like month blocks where I'm like, okay, I want to do at least 2 trips in the month, even if those are like 2 nighters or something like that. Especially in the summer because we're like faced with such a little amount of warmth here where we are
Yeah.
that I just feel like a fire under me to be like, okay, we got to take advantage. Because yeah, for me, I just don't do a lot in the winter, so I have to go somewhere else to do it. But I want to try and pick up maybe like skiing or something like that this year.
You don't ski? Do you
Like
snowboard?
I've skied, I've tried snowboarding. I wouldn't say I snowboard, um, but I haven't skied or snowboarded in a while, maybe like 4 years, 5 years. So
Yeah, I need to go snowboarding this year. I miss it so much. I couldn't go last year or the year before just because it was horrible
yeah,
here.
my buddy just got back last night from like a 3 week trip to Whistler.
Oh,
He has like a season's pass all year, so I'm like, I'm gonna get on a couple road trips with him,
yeah, yeah.
go somewhere.
No,
It's
that's pretty cool. Now, what has been your favorite project this year?
that's a tough one. Maybe going to nationals with the dog trainer.
Oh, talk about that.
Yeah, that was a cool one because he had his dog in nationals. So we went out there with a little crew of us and filmed the event. And yeah, it's just I think that's really cool because there's also a lot of growth in how to tell that story. Because year after year, it's going to be the same with him progressing with his professional career. And yeah, I just want to figure out how to tell that story in the right way. You know, we had a conversation the other day where he watches a lot of F1, but just the dramatized version of it.
Mhm.
He's not actually interested in like the leaderboards of it or whatever. So it's kind of creating that idea of how to tell this story to the broader audience who's not actually into the dog training. But there's just ways to tell the story where you can rope other people in, you know?
How would you do that?
I think it's just more talking about the broader aspect of it and explaining what's happening, you know? Like bringing in like the family and stuff like that, going to the day to day and then like understanding what the rules are to the sport, understanding what's on the line for this exact race or this show,
Yeah.
you know? I think it's just it really comes down to the detail in it so people aren't just like you have to come in with all this prior knowledge to understand what's even happening.
See, what I love about that, and like especially this specific client, us as videographers, I'm sure you've taken jobs where it was kind of just like a one and done. It's like you go in there, they're looking for a piece of content or just content in general. You go shoot and you give it to them. There's it's not that it lacks substance, but the canine
Field.
shield canine, this client of yours, you're obviously investing a lot more time and energy into them. What what are you trying to gain out of that as opposed to like other clients?
Yeah, I think it gives me a good opportunity just to feel safety too in like what I earn as an income.
Okay.
So that's a positive. But then aside from that, it like really gives me time to like invest myself into it where I know I'll be doing it months from now. You
Absolutely.
know, so like everything I do today can really you can just see the fruition of the seeds that you're planting, you know? So I like the fact that yeah, I can just keep keep going at it and keep growing with it and then you can watch your old videos and be like, "Holy shit, we've come a little ways."
Yeah. What makes you continue wanting to like be a videographer or be like a content creator?
I just like the situations we get thrown into. You know, I like the technical side of it too and like actually sitting down and editing, but it's nice to have a job where you can be at home, be cozy, but then also go out and meet a bunch of people and get thrown in these like weird situations where you're just like, I don't even know what I'm going to do next week, but something's going to happen where I'm going to meet a bunch of new people that I never would have crossed paths with otherwise.
What kind of growth do you want to see moving forward?
I think I want to dial my craft a bit more um and just get like I want to just like continue to impress myself with what I can do. I think it's been a little bit since I've like learned a lot of new things in the craft, you know? Like when you start off it's just like everything's new, but at this point you're like trying to meet deadlines, trying to finish projects, so it's less growth in certain ways you're definitely growing, but there's just like that less growth in the areas where you're like, oh, let me try this new effect or this new way of shooting, or because you're always like, okay, I got to create something consistent that's good. And I know how to do this, this, and this, so that's what I'm gonna do.
How,
I
how do you challenge yourself?
I think you just kind of have to analyze the things that you're watching, the things you enjoy. So like you see something and then you're like, oh, why did I like that? I need to figure out how to shoot like that, or try these new angles, or edit in this new style, things like that. Just where you're switching it up, so you're not just stuck in this cycle of like just producing content.
Yeah. Like you don't want to be so cookie cutter. You want to be able to like innovate, change. And how do you pitch your like your ideas to other brands, businesses, so your vision can come to life through them?
Yeah, I think that's a tough one because you have to again like show, like, have examples for people to trust you, right? We talked about that a little while ago, but it's like if you don't have anything to show for it, how are people going to be like, okay, yeah, let's make that happen?
Absolutely.
So I think off the bat, like you have to spend time not getting paid for something, doing it creatively to figure out how to do it right, and then you can show them that vision, right?
I just watched a video that explained exactly. I gotta send it to you. But what you're saying is, if you don't do more than you're getting paid for, you'll never get paid for more than you do. Which is essentially, I love that idea because you gotta do the thing first and have proof that it actually works, or like you can showcase its abilities. For example, like I want to be a great storyteller. We create a lot of content like podcasts, corporate events, like short form content stuff. Like we create a lot of that stuff and it's good. I'm not saying that it lacks substance, but I feel like if I were to improve on my storytelling, we could create better videos that have more value. But I don't know how to do that yet. Like I have an idea, but right now I got to kind of do the thing, get the reps in. And like you said, like that's how you present it to a client to show them, hey, this is the proof that I've done essentially for free, like on myself or for others. And because I've done this research, because I've done the work, I now present it to you. This is how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, and I can show that it works,
Exactly.
or at least that it connects, you know. But yeah, definitely storytelling is huge for that.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought that up with Shield Canine. What story are they trying to tell?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's more about like the progress of like the story is unfolding in front of us, you know. So um, that's a tricky part with it because like we have the thing that we shot last year on the nationals, and now that it's done and I know it, I can create a story out of it
Mm,
where maybe I bring certain key characters that were in it back for interviews, and we create a totally different story out of it. Because the first round of editing through it was just a vlog style of
okay.
like, okay, what happened? Here's what happened. Now that we know what happened, you can be like, okay, how do I dramatize this a bit to show it to a different audience, and really like spend some time to create like maybe like a little 45-minute documentary out of it, or who knows. But if you don't know like the front to back of the story, then it is a lot more challenging, I think, to create that. So I'm gonna try and do it with our previous years showcasing, so that in 2025 I have a better idea. I've already done it once. We can try something different this time, and then maybe make it better next year. But yeah, again, it's just like the practice this year. I got some time off in the winter here. I think it'll be a little slower. Focus up, spend some hours that I'm not gonna get paid as much as I should for, and just create something that you're enjoying, you know?
Absolutely. And I was telling the boys this earlier. We landed this project with the Active Remedy Club, and unfortunately they shut down. Um, the content that I created for them was so much fun that I truly would have done it for free. And I'm just so glad that they were able to pay me for it. Um, I want those types of projects that fuel you so hard that are like, I want to take this on because I genuinely enjoy doing it. And it's just a blessing that I even get paid for it. But moving forward, it's just like now we'll have this innate ability to not just create good content, but create content that have a genuine story to it. And that when it goes out into this world, it'll have genuine value. Like what kind of the story that you're trying to tell with Shield Canine, dramatizing it and everything, is there a larger purpose behind it, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think the larger purpose for me specifically would just be like to get better at storytelling. Maybe
Hmm.
not like myself telling a story, but just like manipulating content
Hmm.
to create engagement,
Yeah.
right?
What are you doing to kind of elevate your storytelling?
Well, I'm definitely going to do some research in already successful shows and like start taking notes, because right now I don't really know where I'm going to start with it. I have an idea of like, you know, different climaxes in the story,
Yeah, yeah.
but like really to plan out like shots and how I want to like encompass the whole thing, I think I need a little bit more like fresh knowledge on popular shows that are doing it that way.
Absolutely.
Imitate the greats, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And Steven just told me we have a minute and a half left. So I actually want to end off with one question. What does it mean to be creative?
I don't know. That's a tough one, but I guess the first thing that came to my mind was kind of like perspective. I think creativity is just the way that you look at any situation. You know what I mean? Because creativity can be looked at as whatever. But I think it's just plainly perspective, because you're gonna have 100 people that'll look at the room in their own ways, but someone's gonna have the most creative in your aspect, right?
Yeah.
So creativity is just perspective on what you make and perspective on who thinks it's creative.
What's one piece of advice that you would give to the audience?
The audio gate's not good.
What's one piece of advice that you would give to people wanting to be, like, if someone's going through like a creative rut, like what would you tell them?
Take some fucking time off. Find a new environment. I think that's super important. Like, you're gonna lose passion if you're in the same four walls all the time. So yeah, that's my thing for everything though. If you feel off in any way, it's like you got to find a little bit of a different space to be in for a bit.
That was huge. Dan, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. If you guys want to find him, he's at, what's your at? Dan Orr?
danor.mp4.
danor.mp4. You could see everything down below. I hope you guys got some great insights on this episode, and we will see you on the next one. Noor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. Thanks so much for being on. For those who don't know, Noor is our editor, and he has been with us for
about a year, a bit more
about
than
a year now. Yeah.
God, it's been a journey.
It has been a journey. It's been but it's been like so quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's also like we're still new to this.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that I've learned, but there's so much more. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like,
I mean, that's a good segue. Let's start with the beginning of your employment here. Why did you want to join Ricoso Productions?
honestly, I want to do something different. I think that's the core of it all the time. But also it goes all the way back to fulfilling that creative endeavor. And yeah, I'm doing that. I feel like I'm doing that right now. Obviously there's more to it. But I get to express myself, and I think that's so important.
And obviously you still being a new editor, there's a lot of challenges you've had to overcome and face. The main one being like learning how to edit.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be an editor?
I'd say it's more like, to be an editor means to understand, whoever you're working with. It means to understand them well enough. And I think it's weird because being an editor, you think you don't really need social skills or anything like that, but you kind of do. You kind of need to understand where people are coming from, their stories. Yeah. I hope that makes sense.
It does, yeah. And obviously communication is a huge part because when I first started this company, I was everything. I was the creative director, I was the shooter, I was the editor, I was managing admin, everything. And as I continued to take off hats and trust people like you to take my projects and edit them the way I would, dude, you've hit the nail on the head so many times where I'm like, I get so impressed.
No, I really appreciate that. But honestly, it's also a really difficult balancing act because like I have to carry not only the client's vision, but your vision too, right? And then it's like, okay, wait, let me find a spot where I can put myself in here too. So I can show Justin or the company like, hey, look, I can be this is me.
Let me ask you then, try to think back about a project that we've done this year where you put yourself into.
To be honest, it was kind of a hard lesson too, but General Report.
Okay.
I think my biggest weakness is understanding intros, outros, graphics like that. But I kind of really got to explore what I liked, what I didn't like into it. I mean, granted, we haven't finalized it. I don't know what we're gonna stick with, but it was definitely a glimpse into like what I can do in the company. Mm-hmm. It was a very small thing, but I don't know. It was fun. I got to explore what I liked, what I didn't like. Throw that into the air.
What has been your favorite project to work on?
So I think I don't think anybody's gonna expect this, but definitely change to links.
Really?
Yeah. So, and see, this is why. I mean, it's been because I'll be honest, it's a very difficult project to do. It's huge.
Yeah,
There's so
people
much
think
effort.
podcasts are easy to.
No,
No, podcasts are not easy to edit.
no, but it's been so fun.
Mm,
It's been
that's
so
good.
challenging and so fun, and I think the thing about working on projects is sometimes you can also take from it. Like I want to step back and sometimes watch it, and I've learned so much from Chains to Links. You know, all the guests, and especially from like Kelly and Iffy. You know,
Yeah.
listening to them, and it definitely, I don't know, it challenges a part of me that's like the non-editing part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I really like that. I don't know.
Did you edit season 1 or just season 2?
I've edited season 1 as well.
You did season 1.
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference between season 1 and season 2?
Personally, I felt more confident.
Okay.
Yeah, more confident. I knew what to expect, and also I felt comfortable enough to make the intro and the outro for season 2,
There we go.
and that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, you killed it. It looks great.
thank you.
For anyone out there, here's a little snippet of Into the Crit. That's my podcast. Chains to Links.
Ever wonder what it takes to unlock true Black innovation and wealth creation? You're in the right place.
This is From Chains to Links, where the brightest Black minds, entrepreneurs, academics, creatives, and futurists reimagine what it means to build generational wealth in a thriving Black community.
We're not just talking about change, we're building it. Stick around because this conversation is about to spark something different.
Here's the thing, like a lot of the projects, this goes into 2025. I want to take more like bold actions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing: even you not being able to answer that question, kind of, it showcases that I haven't found the right projects to give you that think I immediately love this project. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
projects that you learn from. A lot of the projects that we're doing right now, it's kind of just getting us by. It's kind of, we're coasting. We're
Yeah.
comfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But now it's like the way I see growth, it's like we got to be put into uncomfortable situations where we've never done stuff like this before or things that you're passionate about.
yeah. I don't want to say that this isn't coming from like apathy. Like I don't care. That's why I'm sleeping good at night.
Yeah.
It's just that, like in the future, things are definitely going to be changing, and that also goes into the fact that I believe in making yourself uncomfortable, because then that also kind of spurs my creativity,
Absolutely.
right? Whether it's talking to new people, working with different clients, putting yourself in a different environment that you haven't been in, I think that's what I want to be doing more in the future as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah.
What project would you like to see yourself doing in the near future?
I don't have a specific one in mind, but I definitely want to be working with the type of client where if I say their name, everybody's like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I've had a couple of those. We've had a couple of those actually.
And see, that's the thing, is I want to have such a big impact for just that company, like almost like David Goliath kind of thing. You know?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I do want to name drop something, but I don't think I can.
Name drop it.
Can I? Like Intuit is huge.
Oh yeah.
That was actually part of it. Like the sleepless nights thing. I think Intuit was one of them
Okay.
because it is so much anxiety in terms of like, oh, you know, it's a big company. They have everything structured. If I don't meet that deadline or if I don't meet their demands, maybe we're gonna lose them. Or you know what I mean? Like that was definitely a lot of like part of the fear, I think, this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see it as a negative, but I can mainly see it as a positive because you actually care.
Yeah. No, for sure. But there has to be a limit sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, okay, you know what? That's enough of this. What can I do better? Like, what can I change to make sure I'm not wasting my time thinking about it after work? You know what I mean? After
Absolutely.
hours. Yeah. It's a lot to think about, to be honest.
Is there any type of video that you want to edit? Like anything hype, anything crazy, or like, are you fine with like a lot of the corporate stuff that we do? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
I don't think I'd be lying if I said I love the corporate stuff. I definitely want something that definitely like fast paced for sure. I want to be able to shake things up into what we already have, and like I want to be able to like offer something new, something like a brand that's already been set that you know about. I want other people to look at it through a different perspective, through a different lens.
Absolutely.
Right? There was a company that we talked about, or an ad that we talked about earlier. I'm not going to talk about it here.
Why not? Who?
No
name dropping. What I love is the passion and the purpose that is driving you. So with that being in mind, let me ask you, what is one mark that you want to leave in this world? Like, if people know Noor, what would you want them to say about you? Like, I'll give you an example. For me, it's like when I want people to know me as a great storyteller. Mm-hmm. And every day I'm going to try my best to work towards that. And right now, that's what the goal is right now. May change, may not. Like, that's kind of what my heart is set out to, because I believe that me becoming a great storyteller will eventually change the world because of the stories that I tell. There's a deeper meaning behind it. But for you, for example, if you want to leave an impact in the world, what kind of impact do you want to leave?
I think, and this might follow your goal. It's for me, I want to be able to show the world something different, and not something amazing. Like, there's so many authors and directors and, you know, all these great people. And the reason why they're famous and why you know their names is because they did something differently. But I don't have to change the world, you know what I mean? But I just want to be like, hey, you know what? This is a perspective nobody has talked about ever. And here it is. This is an honest perspective. Also, this sounds a little weird, but I want to use that sort of impact for good.
There we go.
I think that's the most important part, because believe it or not, I'm a very cynical person, but also very, very positive, because at the end of the day, I still feel a sense of hope. And sometimes it feels like I have to do my part to make sure that hope keeps running, not just for me, but for everyone else. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if I offer different perspectives of something different, that's truthful, honest, and hopeful, I think I've done my part. Yeah.
Truthfully, I think you're just off to a good start.
Yeah.
There's so much. First of all, there's a lot of learning that we still have to do. Yeah. There's so many more lives that we can touch. There's so much more perspectives that need to change, that could change, should change, whatever it may be. You're just getting started.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I love about this company that we're starting, Ricoso Productions, in essence, it's a video production company. But like, I would like to believe we have a mission that all of us can find our goals within.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want you to, like, you being a part of Ricoso Productions, I want you to know that your goal will be met by being in this company. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's also, I need you to be innovative and understand that, like, you get out as much as you put in.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the thing, right? I can't rely on you guys, but also I have to do it on my own as well. I need to, you know what I mean? I have to be individual, like independent, but I need to understand when to trust you guys. Not trust you guys, rely on you guys.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know, there's a quote by Motilal Oswald, and he says, I helped someone climb up a mountain, and I too then found myself at the top of that mountain. Right?
Yeah.
So regardless of, like, that's a quote that Ricoso Productions also lives by, right? Because we essentially just help other businesses grow. That's the whole purpose of this. We try to help businesses grow through storytelling, content creation, branding, all that good stuff. And as they grow, we're also growing with them, because it's a testament to what we can do. A lot of the purpose-driven stuff that we're trying to do, like a lot of the nonprofit businesses that we help grow, we know we're making an impact in this world because we created that content. You edited that content. And ultimately, there's a life that is going to be changed due to the work that we do.
Right.
But we're just off to a good start.
We are. And the thing is, not every work has to be hopeful. Not every work has to be, has to align with my mission in life. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just has to be nothing. Like, and I can take it from there and apply it to myself in, you know, my own life goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm working on a real estate project, you know, there's no, it's a neutral topic, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I can learn from that. And sometimes it's like, it just feels good being able to know that you're helping someone
Absolutely.
further their, you know, professional career too.
Now, I want to steer this conversation to a little bit more a creative aspect, because one of the quotes that I really love, do you watch The Office?
Yeah.
So at the end of the series, Pam says to the camera crew, she found it odd that they chose a paper company to make a documentary about. And then she goes off to say, there's a lot of beauty in ordinary things. Isn't that the point? And when we're talking about like something like real estate, I started in real estate. We still work with a couple of realtors, but like you said, like real estate is kind of boring.
Yeah.
How do we then turn around and say, it's not, I mean, yeah, it may be boring, but there's a story to be told. It's kind of interesting. There's people out there that need the information that these realtors are giving, and some inspiration, some hope, whatever it may be. How then do you look at these realtors, look at these projects, look at these brands and businesses and think, it's not boring, we can make it interesting? Is that possible?
I think we've already been doing that, because a lot of the agents that we worked with, they're exploring like the communities. They're exploring Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And
shout out Jenna.
And honestly, I love that stuff. I love it because it just makes you feel more like interconnected. See what I mean? Like you can find this like positivity in almost everything. Like I don't want to be too dramatic, but at the end of the day, like stuff like that, it's not just, oh, here's a house, let's go on in and check it out. You know, these agents are doing more than that. And I think, I don't want to be melancholic about it, but I think it's admirable.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what we could do else more to make it seem more, you know, like positively impactful.
Okay.
But yeah, we're already doing that, I think.
Sometimes it just takes one person. Like I always think to myself, if this video changes the life of one person, it was worth it.
I like that.
It's that simple. If it changes the life of one person, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
If it changes the lives of many, the more the better.
Yeah.
But that's how I go into the work that we do. We're going to end it off with the last question, which is, what does it mean to be creative?
I think I already hinted at that, but to be creative is to be bold, to be yourself, but also to be uncomfortable. I think there's not a single person that's been creative and they've just done it because, you know, whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like they were put into a situation they didn't want to be in. You know what I mean? And also it's just like, you just have to have this sort of like fire. I think if you're missing that fire, I don't know, maybe being a creative person isn't for you. But I think in a way, everybody's creative, right? But you just have to hone that. You kind of need to like refine that. Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's Noor from Ricoso Productions. Noor, thank you so much for joining me on Into the Creative Mind. We've already done Noor, we've done Dan, and now we have the general manager of Ricoso Productions, Stephen Bodner.
Wow. What an introduction.
Stephen has been, for those who don't know, Stephen has been with Ricoso Productions before it even became a thing. Ain't that right, Stephen?
Yeah, technically. I mean, yeah, we would have conversations about like it being an actual business rather than just like you going out and shooting stuff.
This was like 4 years ago.
I was still in college when we were talking about this, technically.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was still a police officer. Kind of. I was a cadet. Anyways, dude, thank you for jumping on. Appreciate your time and everything that you do. Let's start off by asking you, what has been the most influential thing to you this year?
Influential thing. What are we talking, like, in terms of like work or, like,
life?
Goals? Oh man, dude, I got nothing but like corny. Can we swear on this?
Yeah.
I got nothing but corny ass answers.
And we're here
no,
for
man,
it.
I draw inspiration from just everyone around me, and like that's what I love about a lot of the people in my life is I'm sure you can relate to, like, we try and surround ourselves with like some just positive influences, right? And like I'm always looking at people, and I'm not gonna say comparing, but seeing what it is they're doing, and like, man, how could I keep working to like be the best version of myself? I can't say there's any single inspiration for like this year or like what I'm doing, but you know, it's just the people that I'm around. I mean, obviously you've been a massive influence. I mean, I'm still here. I know you you love to hear it. Yeah, I mean, even just everybody else that we work with as well, like Noor, Francisco, the fact that everybody is still here and we're growing and things are just amazing. Like, yeah.
It's crazy that we're all still here. Right?
It's, you know,
it's funny to even say that because you left
yeah,
for a period of time.
Yeah,
Talk about that.
Oh man, where to start? No. Yeah, I think it was
because I'd initially brought you on as like an assistant.
It was a lot of assistant work, which is fine. I you know, it's a lot of organizing.
It's what I needed at the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was what you needed, but I think it just got to a point where I found myself very lost in what I was doing, and like I liked working with the company, but I just felt like I was just kind of around. Not to say that I wasn't appreciated, but it felt like at the time I just wasn't really doing
growing. There wasn't much to do.
There was no.
It was
path,
hard
right?
for me to find out what it is that you're doing.
That's it, and I was just kind of like sitting there. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not. You know, I feel like I'm just not doing enough. And then I kind of got into like the idea of, oh, maybe like, you know, I like recruiting, and like helping to get Francisco on was like kind of a big thing for me. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna just try this out for a bit, see how it goes. And it went well, all things considered, but you know, that company shut down, which is, you know, it is what it is.
He left before it shut down.
That's true.
So
I went there, killed it, and then left.
Because Steven was no longer there, they had to shut down.
Yeah, no, that's exactly
it's
it.
correlation and causation, right?
Yeah, that's it. I left and they shut down. No, it was one of those things. Like, I saw the writing on the wall, and like even the way my boss, when I was handing my resignation, was talking about the company, I just kind of was like, oof, I if anybody else heard this right now, like they would start prepping their resumes, because but that was like I was planning on doing that, and then I just kind of reached out back because it was like, you know, I had more of like I kind of know my skill set and like what I'm good at now, and
I took you back with open arms.
Yeah, and I'm hey, I'm ever gonna be grateful for that, because that, yeah, I mean, my backup plan was just like traveling and like, you know, doing whatever came across the desk, right? Yeah.
We had a great start to the year.
Oh, we always do.
We had a great start to the year. We our first project one of our first projects in 2024 was shooting Black Ambition.
Yes.
Yeah, Black Ambition.
Yeah.
Out in Miami. Dan was a part of it, and I'm so grateful that you were able to come out as well.
Oh, dude, I was happy to meet everybody for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, especially the CT team, because they were like,
shout out to the Carbon Thread.
Always. They're amazing people. Like, I was, you know, it's one thing to kind of have brief email communications with people, but to actually like meet everybody face to face, it's like you can't. Even what we do here, like, we don't usually meet up in person, but having everybody here, it's just, you know, the vibes are different. Like, it's just nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And going back to collecting good people and being inspired by good people, one thing that has stuck with me throughout the whole year is the thing that Brian did at Brian is the founder of the Carbon Thread Agency. At the end of the shoot, we gathered all together and we talked about like how everything went. That inspired you. Why? Like you were raving about it. You were like, "Oh my god!" Like,
Oh, well, I think it was just, I do think it was, I don't get to go on too many shoots, and it really was just kind of that level of professionalism, because I mean, the stuff that we do here, it is very kind of like the pacing of everything, it's
fast.
It's fast, yeah, and like it's usually just kind of you going out doing stuff, but we don't really feel that sense of camaraderie, like we did this, like everyone together. And I was very much a bystander in that situation. So I think just at a glance, it was like, yeah, like this is what we're trying to do. Like, this is it, like having that team, having that sense of we all did this together. And I mean that to say more so you guys, because again, I was just there to, admire from afar. But yeah, no, I think it was powerful to see. And like, it takes a good leader to really drive the ship, and that's what I saw at the time, and everybody played their role flawlessly, and
and
inspiring, like you said. Like,
and to that point, just as much as like, here's the thing, what I love about you is you gathered Francisco and Noor. You literally brought them to me and said, hey, these two guys are not just looking for work, they're looking to do something. It's funny, when I first brought on Francisco, he wanted to start his own video production company. You know what? We'll get more into that afterwards, but I was like, absolutely, like bring him on. We'll learn from each other and we'll go from there.
For sure.
Nor, you were just like, oh, like he's still in college, but university.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was still in university, but like you were just like, hey, I forget the pitch what was the pitch?
You know what it
With
was? I saw a lot of myself in what Noor was doing, and like he clearly wasn't happy doing what he was doing, and I think, you learn to kind of see that like certain skill sets in people, and it's not necessarily like, sure, they might not know exactly what it is that the role is, but what was it we used to say? It's the will, like it's something, the will to learn. I forget the quote, but man, I'm forgetting quotes on your podcast. No, it was the will to learn.
Like he didn't need to know. He wasn't an editor.
Yeah.
And I found that weird. I actually, knowing that you came from a recruiting background, regardless if he was your friend or not, I know that you always have the company's best interest in mind. And you still brought someone that never edited and said, hey, I think he'll be a good asset.
You see, that's what I think people underestimate about soft skills in like any career. They're so important. I do think in general, like they're some of the most important things to like be teachable. That's like just one of those massive like life lessons. Just be teachable, like be open-minded, like don't let your ego get in the way. Like there's going to be some not so great days, unfortunately, but that's just life, right?
Absolutely. And you saw that in Noor. You obviously saw that in Francisco.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know who you bring next.
I knew these guys are hardworking, like, that's so, like, you can't, it's hard to teach hardworking. Like, it's kind of, you have to kind of, it's in you to be hardworking or it's not. Like, I think that's, yeah.
I'm really glad that you brought them like into the company though. Like it's
Dude,
obviously been
I'm
glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Now, I asked this earlier today, but I wanted to know, like when we first started this company, I wanted to know where you see this company going. Cause like this is, if this company is a child, you would you truly would be its uncle because you were there when it was born. You know what I mean? And like this company wouldn't be like close to where it is if it wasn't because of you.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie on that. I mean, we doubled revenue last year, and yeah. So where do I see it going?
Yeah, dude, we're just getting
I
started.
know.
We
That's
are so
like,
young.
I love that, like, sky's the limit with this kind of thing.
For sure, sky's the limit. I always
No,
say though,
I-
like you can't hit a
think,
target you can't
yeah,
see, right?
no,
It's just like
that's
we
it,
really
right?
we got to look at this company truly as a child and think, okay, what are we going to encourage it to do?
Yeah, and I think as like kind of
Because as it grows, it's weird knowing that like in the beginning we started off with small businesses and mid-sized businesses, and it was just strictly short form content.
yeah.
That's all we did. And then we casted a broad net and we tried doing everything, and we realized that was a bad idea.
I don't know if I say bad
Not
idea.
bad. It was too early. It's
great
like we're
experience.
throwing this kid into like every single sport possible, and now we were just like,
He's a
okay,
D1 athlete, brother.
there we go. Do we want him to swim? Do we want him to play basketball? Is he tall enough to play basketball? We don't know. It's still too young, too early to decide. But knowing that we started this, where do you want to see it go?
See, that's the thing. I never really think about it in a sense of like, where do I want to see it go? There's a lot of things I want for the company, but at the end of the day, like, you know, you're the captain of the ship. Like, I am here to support everyone in what their goals are. And I think we've had a lot of discussions where even if I don't necessarily agree with it, I'll humor it, right? Like I don't think it matters where I want it to go so much, because I know that regardless of what we do, it's going to be huge. Like I don't think there's a doubt for that. In terms of the content we make, I don't know, man. Like I just see it as being just larger scale productions. I do think like movies are on the horizon, like within the hopefully near future.
Yeah.
Even if it's like small, like, you know,
When you say movies,
film
like
festival
cinematic,
type.
okay,
Yeah,
like
even if
actual
it's, like, you
films,
know,
or like how about like cinematic ads and stuff
sure,
like that?
absolutely. Yeah.
Those are
I mean,
movies in
you
itself.
know, businesses are like, for as much as AI exists, I can't say that they're ever going to like, AI can only take what doesn't, from what exists.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And we're trying to do things that haven't been done yet. So it's not like they're going to steal our ideas,
Yeah,
right?
that's a hard mission, eh?
It's, you know,
But I
know some
love
people
the-
say,
I love the
there's
mindset.
nothing new, there's nothing original. Like that's kind of a popular belief. But I mean, it's, you know, I think a lot of the most successful businesses are like deviants of something that exists already, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Absolutely. Now, I like to think that Ricoso Productions is going to be this. It's going to be bigger than any of us. Right now, I don't even like to say simply, but in simple terms, Ricoso Productions is a video production company. Oh. Probably wrong building. 48? Yeah. 48A? Maybe? Yeah, no worries. Oh, Uber Eats guy just came in. Oh,
is that Chipotle yet?
no, it could be ours. We just ate some Papa John's.
Yo, don't just say Papa. Yo, they're not paying a Papa John's.
Papa
sponsor
John's.
us.
I fuck with Papa John's though. I definitely love Papa John's.
They're good.
I see Ricoso Productions being this thing that's
Yeah.
bigger than all of us. And I like to think that it is a ship that carries all of us to our goal, just as much as Luffy's crew, the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy wants to be the king of the pirates. Zoro wants to be the strongest swordsman. Sanji wants to find the all blue. Usopp wants to be a brave warrior of the sea. Within the ship, what's your goal?
I think we talk about that kind of goal a lot too, and I think this kind of lends back with what I was saying about soft skills, where I'm a firm believer that there's more to life than just your education and like your, like, not to say that education's not important, but I think that you shouldn't let it be a box for what you can and can't do. Hence why I think Noor took everything up so well, was like, it wasn't, he didn't go to school and study this stuff. Francisco did, and it's fantastic, and obviously it worked out quite well. But it's not to say that everyone needs to. And even just this idea of like success over the years has been kind of, I think the waters are a little muddied as to what like success means for everybody, where like, you know, success is like being a millionaire. It's like having a massive house, like, you know, like big family and all that. And like, I think success is just so personal to the individual. And like, I always found that, I don't want to soapbox and be like, yeah, the education system's not great, but I know there's so many people that get a degree for the sake of getting a degree, and like it's such a requirement for so many different jobs. And I look at those jobs and I'm like, why? Like, why can't it just be taught on site?
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why it's so important for me to like not just like dismiss people due to like capabilities or like, you know, knowledge on what we're doing is like, you don't know what you don't know. And like even every job trains in some capacity, for as much as a lot don't want to nowadays. I want to show people that despite a lack of like formal education, it shouldn't be a barrier towards your goals. Like it should make you work harder towards those goals. And in a lot of cases you'll have to, like if that's the case. I know this like whole creative industry, it's like, you know, it's almost like a wave these days where everybody's trying to do, you know, some kind of like content creation, or like you see it everywhere.
Brand building.
Exactly. Like it's great.
I do want to touch on one last thing before we move on to the next question. What is your definition of success?
My definition of success, like my like personal like. Well, it's interesting because I know we've talked about this a lot, where you attribute everything to the word. What was it?
Courage.
Courage. Okay, that was different from what I remember. I'm thinking more. Yeah. No. Okay. Courage. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, we've had a lot of different conversations, but yes, courage. I attribute a lot of what I do to the word freedom.
Yes.
In that I'm trying to just be free of a lot of what these, you know, standards have become in life, which is a lot of like working 9 to 5 and like, you know, you go and you get the education and you get the job and then you get the money. And because I just can't help but think it's a rat race. I think in general it's a lie that we've all been like sold.
Yeah.
Because I look around and I see a lot of people who are doing that, and it's just not the case for them. Like I'm very fortunate in that when I went and I did recruiting, like I have like a business background. So there is that kind of overlap there, but not a lot of people get to say that. So, you know, you hear a lot of stories about people who are still, you know, they have PhDs, maybe not PhDs, but they have, you know, they're like their full degree and like even maybe a master's.
Yeah.
But they're still working like a 9 to 5 at some job that has nothing to do with their program or like what they studied or what they care about. Right. So my idea of success is just like being able to do the things that I'm passionate about.
There we go. And it's different for everyone. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So just to give some people some context out there, just plugging this book, Evan Carmichael's book, Your One Word, great read. But to sum it up, he basically helps you understand or finds your one word that you live life through. And from reading that book and talking to Evan for hours, we've come down to the word courage. His is believe in. He wants to solve the world's biggest problem, which is people don't believe in themselves. And everything that he does is him working towards that goal, getting people to believe in themselves. Same thing with me. Like, just quickly talking about the word courage and the reason why Stephen said it. The reason why I believe my one word is courage is because when I was younger, I always prayed for courage. And Evan's belief is your passion comes from pain. And I mean, knowing a ton of, I'm not going to air out your dirty laundry, but I can understand why freedom would be your word. Like it makes so much sense to me. And for anyone out there, like if you want to understand what your one word is and how it can benefit your life, go read the book. It's a great read. For me, it's courage because I always prayed for courage. And the craziest thing about courage is when you ask for it, when I prayed for it, I just expected it to happen. But unbeknownst to me, I was put through trials that had to make me be courageous. Dude, I would have lived a comfy 30 years about being a police officer, $100,000 a year, like 6-figure job, a lot of vacation, a lot of like extra overtime if I want to get paid more. There's a lot of benefits. It was comfy. Like I would have been so comfy being a cop. None of this would have happened. I wasn't passionate about policing. And it also got me in trouble. I say in trouble, but a friend of mine, like we're friends now, but he was mad at me because I wasn't taking policing seriously.
Okay.
But I didn't have the courage to leave. Dude, I went into it, like I kind of half-assed it. Like I've always been a fit dude. So like getting on wasn't all that hard.
Right.
Dude, if I applied, I can get on right now. I know I could easily. But it's not what I'm passionate about. And I even had people try talking me out of it. Like I was just like, I'm quitting this to start a business with no business degree, no business background, frankly, no money and no experience. There's a ton of things that like, it was actually the dumbest idea for me to quit that and start this.
So let me ask you then, how do you attribute, or I guess what is the connecting points between success and courage for you? Like what would you say is like what does the measuring stick look like?
It's changed, actually.
Yeah.
I will say, for me, success has changed over time because I used to think so small. And the only reason why I thought so small was because I didn't know anything else. The moment you start opening up your eyes, you're climbing up that ladder, you climb up that first mountain, you realize, oh, damn.
There's a lot more mountain.
There's so much
There's
more.
A lot more mountain.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have understood that without the people along this journey with me. During one of Evan's masterminds a couple of weeks ago, he brought up this story or this quote or this conversation that these two people had, and it's well known. One guy said, "What's more important, the journey or the destination?" And most people will say the journey. But then someone was asked the question, he said, neither. It's the company, the people that you bring along on that journey. The destination is great. We're going to get there. We know that there's a mountain that we're climbing. Ricoso production is this mountain that we're going to climb. We're going to hit that destination. But ultimately, the journey is what matters. But more importantly, it's the people along. I bring that back to define the word success as in success isn't something that I'm supposed to meet. It's something that I'm supposed to work towards. Very similar to a goal. Like when most people will say, oh, when I make $1 million, I'll be successful. No, because then you can get to 2 million.
Yeah.
You can be more successful. Then why would you stop at that? I don't know if I've told you this story. 2021, me and Nina, we were writing down affirmations, like manifesting into the world.
This sounds familiar, yeah.
I had written down my company, I run a successful video production company. I will make $100,000. I will have a team. We burnt and threw it up into the world. I also prayed for it, but we also worked really hard towards aiming towards those goals. We hit it. We hit it so fast.
Yeah.
Into the Creative Mind episode 3, I believe, I talked with Evan and I told him this story. And he was just like, damn, why did you think so little? He was just like, dude, it's a cool milestone. It's a great start, but it's just like, if you knew that you could have written anything on that piece of paper, anything, and it would have came true, aren't you just a little upset with yourself that you dreamt so small?
Yeah, that's like the there was the book you recommended me, the one about money.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich. Yes.
Great
have
read.
You read have you read it?
No.
Yeah, I know you haven't.
I read it through Steven.
You recommended it to me, and I read it, and I thought it was quite good, minus all the just long-winded stories that I just didn't care for. But I like one of the earliest parts of it, and I don't know the full thing, but it essentially boils down to like, if you ask for it,
It comes,
will,
yeah.
like
Asking you shall
it'll come
receive.
to
There's a
you.
bunch of
Yeah,
ways
like,
it's written, like in the Bible, asking you shall receive,
Yeah.
manifesting it, speaking it into existence, and
yeah, no, it's true. It's like, yeah, why didn't you ask for more? Like if you had just asked for it and like looked for it, like you could have just got that instead.
yeah, and then like start pairing us, continuing to like pair with great people. It's like you understand that there's levels to partnerships. You realize that the people you surround yourself really accelerate your growth. I don't even want to name drop this person, but I know someone in my life very close to me. He's lacking one thing, and it's the proper environment. If you surround yourself with the, like, everyone says like you are the sum of the 5 people closest to you.
I've said that. I didn't say this the 5 people, but I've always said that I think people are a reflection of whoever they surround themselves with.
Absolutely. And like I look at the people in my circle, I'm like, we are going to be the next generation of greatness. I know we are. And like Ricoso Production, like everyone that's going to be a part of Ricoso Productions is going to be great.
Absolutely.
But let's not kid ourselves. Like, let's not think our egos are so high and we're great. We're not even close.
No.
Dude, if people right now think what we're doing right now is great, take a seat.
Yeah, that's interesting.
wait.
Dude, that's so funny you say that too, because the amount of conversations I've had, like even just within the last, I'll say like few months, of people that are very like complimentary and very like, oh, it's so cool what you guys are doing, and
You
like
get to travel, you're working with these
and
big companies.
and I'm like, I don't disagree with it, but I guess I just never really thought about it as like, oh, this is something really cool that we're doing, because like it's in a lot of ways it's just we're working, right? Like this, I don't even like,
dude, I don't even consider this work.
no, that's it.
Dude,
Like,
I
it
love
just feels
this.
normal.
I breathe this.
Like,
yeah, like this is just what we
it's like,
do.
yeah,
we wake up and we get to do this.
That's it. Like so hearing these things, I definitely just found myself kind of going like, yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like I never really, I guess, stopped to think about like how cool it is, but like it
Cool
is pretty
compared
cool,
to,
yeah, but it's cool compared to the norm, right?
Yeah.
And like that's why, I mean, that's why I wanted to help bring this to be more than just like normal, right?
Yeah.
Like
What I like to see about Ricoso Productions is like we're still setting the foundation. We still have a lot to learn. Like here's, like I said, you are the only one in this company that has actual business background. Like I'm still trying to figure it out through the lenses of other people, learning from others, yourself included. I don't have a video production background. Francisco does. I don't have a PhD in philosophy like Noor over
he doesn't
here.
have a PhD. He's got
do
a
you have?
degree.
You have a
and
degree in
it's like,
philosophy?
What is it? Political science?
No, political science. Sorry. Political science. I don't have any, like, I was going to be a cop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here we are. Back to your, like, freedom's the word. Understanding that you could be free. Like, regardless of the excuses that you give yourself, regardless of your come up, regardless of anything holding you back, you can change. You can find freedom. Freedom is different to everyone. Like, dude, we live in Canada. We're pretty damn free. I mean, a lot may argue that we're not, but like, dude, like we have a roof over our heads.
Yeah.
We have money coming in. We're doing what we love doing, and we know we're growing. Come on now. It's good to be grateful. It's good to
Yeah.
acknowledge gratitude and acknowledge the work that we've done, but we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Like I've set standards for myself that are so high that I'm doing a horrible job. Like right now, I'm not even close to where I've set my own standards. I'm trying to build up. We'll get there.
We will. There's definitely, I can't say there's ever really been a doubt about that. Cause yeah, it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, even the stuff that we've done just this past year, it's like,
It's almost like it's crazy,
yeah.
but it's not.
No,
You know what I mean?
dude, I think that too sometimes. I'm like, man, I have never been so busy in a year and done so much just in like my own personal life, and like obviously
And that's the beauty of it, right? You got how many times did you guys go camping? How many places have you traveled to? Whereas like how many times did you travel this year? We went to Miami.
I went to Miami.
You went to
I went to Chicago.
You went to Japan last year.
I was in Japan the year before, yeah. But that was still like
Still
I
with
would
you
count
were
that.
still-
Yeah,
yeah.
it was definitely partly due to that.
You went to Cuba recently.
Cuba recently, yeah.
And this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I know there's. Oh, I went to
Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver and Alberta. with your
Alberta,
brother.
yeah. Dude, you
yeah.
traveled a lot this
I
year.
loved
Like
it,
you
man.
were able
it was
to get
great.
out.
Yeah,
Like
very fortunate.
like and then I ask a lot of people this, like, who gives you the amount of freedom for that?
It's true.
I don't know. I haven't worked a job in forever.
No, I mean, it's the standard is like 2 weeks paid vacation. I'm like, I mean, 2 weeks is.
2 weeks is nice, but let me
Yeah,
let me go.
I don't. 2 weeks is not enough, man. Why are you trying to work more? Like, I'm trying to work less.
And how many times did you guys go camping without me?
Dude, you're always busy, and we go camping a lot.
A lot.
Like,
Oh my
Yeah.
god, guys! The amount of times I'm like, what are you guys doing this weekend? Him
Camping.
and Francisco
yeah.
camping. How many times?
Noor
you guys...
came with us one time.
Noor came camping too.
Yeah.
Oh, my invitation
yeah.
was really lost in the mail there. Anyways, we gotta wrap this one up, dude. Honestly, I can talk to you forever. We talk for hours.
Well, I know, man. I know. That's why Vancouver is so much fun. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's another episode. But we are gonna end it off by asking one question. What does it mean to be creative?
I feel like I should have an answer because I've been hearing you ask everyone. What does it mean to be creative? Well, I mean, for me, it means I get to change the color of our spreadsheets from white to like maybe like a nice blue or like a red. I think it's just not. I feel like am I stealing this from someone? Like not being afraid to be different. Yeah. Did somebody else say that?
No.
Not being afraid to be different and like I want to say stand out. I want to say don't be afraid to make some noise, good or bad. Like I think there's so much creativity in the world, and like I mean, dude, I feel like I don't have an answer for this.
Dude, honestly, that's a great answer.
Yeah, no, I'll just elaborate, I guess. Being creative, don't be afraid to stand out. Some of the most, I'll just say, prolific minds have said some pretty, I'll use the word creative things, for better or worse, but it's, I think, how we as a society continue to move forward. I think we at Ricoso Productions are being creative in our approach to not just like the work that we do, but how we do the work.
Absolutely.
Like I work 4 days a week. Like there's not many jobs that let you do that. Like we get to travel a lot and do a lot of different things, work with a lot of different people and different clients. I would say that that in itself is very creative in how we approach business.
And traditional work.
Yeah. I mean, creativity is kind of almost in essence what I'm looking for in life, is being able to do things different, like approach like what is just considered like the standard in a different way. And yeah, just shaking things up.
Steven, that was great. Thank you so much for being on this episode of Into the Creative Mind.
Yeah.
Francisco, actually, in one sec. Hey, everyone. What's up? Hey, everyone. What's going on? Welcome back to Into the Creative Mind. We are shooting the last episode. We are here with Mr. Francisco Torres. That's his handle on
Yeah, how's it
IG.
going?
He is the #1 employee, because he was the first employee of Ricoso Productions,
Yes,
and
sir.
he's the #1 guy at Ricoso Productions.
Lead editor.
Lead editor, videographer when he comes out.
when he comes out.
When he
When I
comes
need
out.
to fill in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He's the one that I rely on most when it comes to all projects. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being
thank you.
a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being a part of Ricoso Productions for as long as you have.
Hell yeah.
It's been a great year.
Yeah, it's been a really good year.
What's
a lot
been
of
your
projects.
A lot of projects.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite project?
Honestly, like I complain about them all the time. But those projects where it's like, what's it called? Glass Lake just now, Glass Lake
yeah.
ads, the BI recap, like those videos where I'm essentially just given footage and you're like, work your magic.
magic.
And
Work
then
your
those are the ones I
magic.
find like I have the most fun because I just grab a random track and I just edit to a track.
There we go.
And then that's a good time. I'm just vibing with the music and just kind of throwing effects and seeing what comes up from it. Those are the projects I like the most.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. When it comes to creating those types of videos, what's your thought process?
Oh, first it's panic because I'm like, what am I gonna do? What do you mean work my magic? And then like I start with just like, first and foremost, I try to find a template just to begin an idea. Just so I know I'm covered for any transitions, any kind of like flashy effects. And then the second most important thing is music. So I just try to find like an upbeat track usually to kind of help the edit go along. And then I start pulling good clips, this and that. And then I start throwing things together and just trying to piece together what looks good and what doesn't.
And you've done a phenomenal job. I will say thank you for the hard work you've put in this year.
Thank you.
Now, we'll rewind it all the way back. You went to school for this.
Yeah, kind of. So, so I started off as cooking school. So I went to become a chef. Hated it.
What did you hate about it?
It's just the long hours, not like editing, not long hours, but the pay wasn't there. You're working 10, 12 hours, minimum wage. And you're on your feet all day. You get burns, you get cuts. And like, I'm like, I'd rather cook at home where I'm not getting yelled at, micromanage or nothing. I can just do my thing.
And you can tell you didn't love being a chef because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of people love that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that would just cook for free if they could.
I don't get me wrong. I don't miss I kind of sometimes miss the environment.
Really?
It's very fast paced.
Oh, okay.
Like your day goes by in a flash.
Yeah.
It's just the kitchen culture.
All that cocaine.
Yeah, which is insane. The amount of people that do cocaine
In the restaurant industry?
is
Come on.
phenomenal. Like it's astronomical. But I didn't love that.
You didn't love cocaine?
I didn't love cocaine. I just didn't love how that was the environment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not for me. And I felt like if I continued, like all the chefs I've ever worked with had become jaded in some shape or form. And like, I didn't want that for myself, to be this jaded person that hated the industry and just was relying on either alcohol or some form of drug to kind of get by the day and day. And that's a lot of chefs just use drugs to get by. And I'm like, I don't want that for myself. So I pivoted. So I found myself making videos. And they're still on YouTube. You can look for them. But they're just me doing some stupid ass cooking videos.
Was that transition scary?
No, bro, I dived right in. Like for me, I don't hesitate with choices. Like because I always looked at like this is a choice for me, and if it's not, because now I'm married, so now I have to think about like my wife and doing choices that impact her. However, if it's a choice that impacted me, I could not, like, I will dive headfirst, whatever, because it affects my life. It affects nobody else's.
Absolutely.
And regardless, at the end of the day, I know I will be okay because I can make anything work. Because, like, for me, I'm a problem solver. I've always loved solving problems. So
that's what I love about you, man.
So just me changing a career or something is just a new problem to solve. And it's just that challenge is something that I get excited about.
Absolutely. What got you into video?
Oh, Casey Neistat.
Okay.
I feel like he inspired a whole generation of videographers
100%.
and video editors. But Casey Neistat truly blew my mind with his what was it called? Do More video.
Yes, yeah, that was a good one.
That blew my mind when I first saw it. It's just the story it told was insane. And like it really just got you hyped just to do whatever you want to do, like kind of just do something. And that kind of pushed me to get into the video editing and
Absolutely. Dude, for me it was Peter McKinnon. Like I only knew, funny enough, it's usually the other way around. I knew Peter McKinnon before I knew Casey.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what, I want to hear actually more about your influence by Casey, because I was talking to Evan Carmichael and he was surprised that I didn't pull influence from Casey because in short, Casey takes anything boring and makes it super interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, he woke up one day and said, I want to make a video about a soap dish.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's the most boring thing you can think
Yeah.
of. But he made a video about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the greatest story ever told, but dude, he made something of it. And when I was like, I love understanding the idea that nothing in this life is boring. Everything has a story. And he's able to pull from that. Like, so hearing coming from you, what influenced you through that case? Sorry, what did Casey do that influenced you?
So it's just because like I feel like you talked about it earlier in your podcast, but just trying to tell a story. Like that's one of my goals next year is to really hone in on how to tell a story from anything, because that's like once you've hit that, I feel like you can just edit anything. It's just trying to find that story. So what I pulled from Casey is specifically just trying to progress a story. Like always with Casey's videos, there's always motion.
Yes.
It's always like, okay, I'm here, now I'm here, and I'm now doing this. And it flows so well. Like now I'm like it just flows so well. And it's the idea of just keep moving. And that's something that I want to not perfect. Like I love Casey's style. I can't do that style.
Yeah.
That's his. I don't want to imitate. I need to find my own
Yeah.
style. And I'm slowly developing it. And especially this next year is kind of that goal.
Yeah.
But it's just understanding that motion, that fluidity with how to tell a story through camera movement. Action.
You know what I would love to? I love hearing you say this because now in my head it's like, we were talking about this with Noor. It's like, how do you want to be different? How do you want to leave an impact in this world? And I feel like he still has steps that he needs to take to find that answer. But with you, it's like with the way you're talking about like the style of edits and stuff, I'm trying to figure out if people watch a video, they say, oh, that was Francisco. Without skipping a beat. Like
Yeah.
I can watch a Casey Neistat vlog without his face being in it. And I was like, that's a
Yeah.
Casey's, that's either like a Casey style video, like someone's trying to imitate
Yeah.
like a Casey video,
Yeah, that's
or
my
it's
goal in
Casey.
life.
You know what I mean?
I want someone to look at that like, yeah, like even like Wes Anderson.
Yes.
Wes
You know.
Anderson,
Yeah.
you just know it's his film or his style.
Yeah,
Like, there's a whole
exactly.
TikTok trend, like, oh, Wes Anderson film.
Dude, I know.
And like I feel like that's just a sick goal to have. Just to say this is my stamp of what I did.
Absolutely. And on top of that, it leaves an impression. Like
Yeah.
it's, you know, that you've changed the lives of others
Yeah.
because of your impact in this world, because of
Yeah.
what you created.
100%.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
So how are you going, like, what steps do you want to take towards that?
Masterclass.
Really?
So I signed up for a masterclass of just because you can always learn.
Always.
I'm fortunate is where I can teach myself just about anything. I won't be great at it, but I can teach myself the basics. And that can only take you so far. I feel like either you can get a mentor or someone who can challenge you or show you like this is another way of thinking.
I agree. Whose masterclass are you taking?
I don't know. I've yet to actually go through everything, but I just signed up, got the whole thing, and now I'm
Nice.
trying to figure it out.
Dude, I'm interested. I've just been using YouTube University.
Yeah, YouTube
amount of-
University.
The
but-
amount of video, because, you know, like I want to be like the world's greatest storyteller. The amount of videos that I've been watching is like insane. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like education overload.
Yeah.
Overload.
Yeah.
So masterclass, you're expecting to.
The issue I find with YouTube sometimes is just they do the basics and that's really it.
Yeah.
What I'm like, I know the basics. I just want to learn a little bit
More.
more techniques, more like you can, like I love looking at a project and like, okay, now reverse engineer this to kind of get that same result.
Yeah. Do you know what we got to do? Now that I think about this, we'll get back into like projects and whatever. But now that I'm hearing this, you and I should be taking on projects and going into 2025. This is holistically what we should be doing, taking on projects that we know will guide us closer to our goals.
Yeah.
Um,
But I feel like, hey, projects are fine. They can only take you so far. I think it's really just taking that personal time for yourself to learn these things outside of work. Because
Absolutely.
you can only, waiting for the right project, you can wait 6 months before you get a right project that gets you towards your goal. I feel like it's really taking that initiative to do it outside of work. And I'm like bad at this, just taking the initiative outside of work to really hone that skill. To to get the experience that you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can wait like 6 months. Like already like things move on in like 2.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to, once you find something that you want to do, take steps in your personal life to kind of achieve that.
Vlogs.
That's another thing. That's why I want to document my life in the next year. So I just have an ample footage to work with in a way where I can just try to tell this story this way. I'm already cooking some ideas for videos and stuff like that.
Because, dude, what I'm thinking, like, we were talking about this just moments ago. Like, you live, like, an editor's life is you just sitting in the office cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
What if you, like, keep me, like, let me be in your life. Like, talk out, like, have a camera set up, talk about what it is you're doing today, go cook something, and it's just like, come back and talk, okay, now we back, boys. And just find creative ways to tell that story of an editor, the life of an editor.
Yeah.
People eat that up.
People do. It's a whole subgenre in, what's it called? YouTube, where people are just like, day in a life.
Yeah.
And then they like run through their entire day of just video editing.
Dude, I'm excited to here's the thing. I want to take YouTube seriously next year as well.
Yeah.
But more like, I mean, I don't know what it is yet. Like, I have ideas of like storytelling. Like, I want to be a great storyteller, you have to tell stories.
Yeah.
You have to create videos. You have to do the thing.
Yeah.
And I want to use YouTube and Instagram. Like, a lot of my videos recently, I've been implementing structures, like certain like structures, like an enticing hook, and then knowing what the end of my video is going to be and then build towards it.
Yeah.
And then I actually created one video solely from the music. Like, I chose a song and I said, okay, we are making a video based off of this song.
Yeah.
It was okay. Like, I mean, I'm not, like I said, like, you know, like, we're not great at what we're supposed to be doing right now because truthfully, we're still getting started.
Yeah, 100%.
This whole video production stuff, setting up the cameras, the mics, the lights, this is all teachable. This is a soft skill, truthfully. But the true value that you and I possess is the storytelling aspect, is the creation of a story, is directing and producing an actual thing that shares emotion. Sorry, that evokes emotion.
Yeah.
That's what I really want to get good at. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like that's what you want to as well.
100%.
Moving into 2025 and onwards.
Yeah,
it's like this is a goal that we'll be working towards until we truly are the best.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be the best?
I feel like to be the best, I feel like it's twofold. It's being recognized for the work that you do and being satisfied with the work that you produce. So I feel like people say like, oh, it's not about the
destination,
not the
journey.
that. It's like people's not like, I don't seek recognition for this, but like I feel like a certain level of recognition is needed to really be content with the work that you produce.
For sure.
I feel like whether that's views on a YouTube channel, whether that's people saying, yo, this shit was dope. Like, I feel like that is a part of being the best. Because people recognize that you are trying, you put the work, and your work produced something that they found like sick.
Absolutely. Now, do you know what's nice is getting that recognition? Yes, is nice, but truthfully, do you know what I would rather be surrounded by? I would rather be surrounded by people that tell me why the thing sucks. And I'll give you an example. I'm surrounded by a lot of people right now that tell me I do a great job. I'm doing good, yada yada. That's great. Thank you. I know. Tell me why I suck. So I can grow.
But that's not really looking at trying to be the best. I feel like that's a great way to improve and help you get to where being the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are steps that you're going to be taking to become the best?
It's very much like feedback. Like, this is the video I produced. What didn't you like about it? When did you fall off? When did it get repetitive? When did, like, that's what I'm starting to go with a mentality of. Like, when exactly did you get bored? And that will tell me, like, that's not working in terms of my video edit. And so I need to change something up, whether cut to something new, change to the angle, change the music or whatever. Just, I feel like starting there is a great way to find out what's not working in terms of my video creation.
Have you noticed anything in recent projects that have given you the idea that, okay, something needs to change?
All my projects are like, something needs to change. And I think that's what motivated me this next year to kind of look at masterclass, to kind of rehone my skills, because there's a lot of projects where I'm like, I could have done this better, whether it's time constraints and or just my creative process. What's it called? So every single project I look at, like, I can do better or I can change this or that. And that's what really motivated me to kind of look into masterclass this next year and really try to learn how to story tell better.
For the sake of time, I do have to ask you one last question. What does it mean to be creative?
What does it mean to be creative? I feel like it's like you can be creative in so many different ways. I think it is truly. What does it mean to be creative? Trying to. Because, yeah, I've been reading this book called Creative Inc., I think it's called. No. What's that one with the white?
Circle.
Creative Act.
Creative Act.
So it's really just trying. So I've been reading this book called The Creative Act. So it's really just trying to experience creativity instead of trying to find it. So it's really kind of just looking in, like, what I took away from the book is kind of tapping into your innate ability to process things around you and kind of taking those things and flowing it into whatever you're doing. So, like you said, you can be like the day of an editor, you're doing your thing, you go to cook, you bring that with you and then cut back to whatever. That could be a creative way to kind of move something along. It's really kind of just letting experiences flow through you and directing that through a vehicle, whether that's painting, editing, whatever, even problem solving. You have to be creative to problem solve. And it's just taking in your experiences, really taking in your experiences and letting those things direct your thought processes, embracing those ideas and kind of having those help you with creating whatever you need to create.
Absolutely. Now, one last thing, like if anyone out there is looking for inspiration and they're losing creativity, what would you tell them?
Losing creativity. I feel like just going back to the basics. I feel like just taking a fat step back and just starting small. Because like a lot of times when I feel like I'm struggling with getting an edit out, I will just say, fuck it. I'm just gonna start with a song. Let me find a good song that gets me hyped, that can get me through this edit. And then I find myself like, okay, this sounds sick. Now I can cut to this beat. And then before I know it, the video's done. So it's really just taking it all the way back to the absolute basics and relying on those fundamentals that kind of help you through anything.
Solid answer. Francisco, thank you so much for jumping on this episode. And thank you all for watching another episode of Into the Creative Mind. If you guys liked it, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.